Alright, a semi-quick, I hope, video response to Mel's basket case. I forgot to point out in the last video, I shaved here, as you see, so I've de-Hitlerized. I'm a now anti-Hitler mustache. That's what this is. It's an anti-Hitler Fu Manchu kind of thing. Alright, just so there's no mistake, no misinterpretations on the fact that I am very anti-Hitler. So I have the anti-Hitler mustache to prove it, because apparently that's how we prove who we are in this world, by, you know, what mustache you're fucking wearing. Fuck you fucking Joneser and the rest of you fucking assholes. Alright, anyway. So Mel, yeah, I've blocked you in the past, and you know, partly because I just wish you'd leave my shit alone, okay? Just stay out of my issues, because you really aren't a help. You've made these 2 videos, and each time I think you've just, you know, yeah, you just irritate me, okay? You just take everything I'm saying and we go a step backwards. So I'll just make it clear on the suicide issue. I understand you have a mental problem, you can't trust your own judgment. I've explained that I think people should have a right to sign a living will. And if there's any time in your life that you sign that will, and you can at any time revise it, and you can say, no, I never want the right to kill myself. And so you can have a signed statement. Once you've signed that statement saying you never want the right, the only way you could get the right back is to go to a court and demonstrate to a judge that you were of sound mind and that you want to change your mind. All right? So, but if otherwise, people should have the goddamn right. Okay? And that's the fail-safe. The system can be made fail-safe, so Looney Tunes like yourself, who, you know, one day think one thing and another day think another thing, would be protected. Okay? You'd be protected from your own bad judgment. You know, from your more baskety case days. And look, and I've explained before, I have all the empathy in the world for the shit you go through and for the circumstance you're in. But I really don't want to get into these things because you misunderstand and you misinterpret things. And it's not your fault, but it just fucking happens that way. And I have absolutely nothing against you, and I have nothing but empathy for your struggle. But, you know, you really don't help my situation, because you have specific concerns about what people did to you. Well, those are specific to you. I have different standards, okay? I couldn't give a fuck if somebody sells my shit in a DVD. Somebody can make money selling my videos. Good luck, fella. You know, go at it. You know, what I'm more concerned about, yeah, is my reputation, my character, when it's being maligned and insulted for no good fucking reason. Then I'm going to react to that, and I have a right to react to that in my way. All right, and it doesn't have to meet your standards. And for me, a Hitler mustache that's going over the line. When somebody calls me a liar, that's going over the line. When somebody says I file frivolous lawsuits, that's going over the fucking line. And again, to that stupid masked analyst butthole, you know, the definition of frivolous lawsuit, judges use the definition very different than the public's using the definition now. All right, when judges are talking about frivolous lawsuits, they're talking about lawsuits filed maliciously, you know, with knowledge of the fact that this case has no merit, and it's only being filed to fuck with the goddamn people it's being filed against. All right, they don't call lawsuits where somebody has a sincere aspiration to get some justice, and there's no law to defend what they're attempting to accomplish. They don't call that frivolous, okay? They just call it a case with no merit. So there is a distinction. You're just fucking with these words. This is how words get all fucked up. It's because they get in the hands of assholes, and the assholes are misusing the terminology. All right, and so it's just bullshit. And so in all my cases, none of them have ever. Well, the only case that was where I lost with prejudice, you should understand that term, with prejudice, was the fact that, yes, judges have given themselves immunity, so you can't sue a judge. But any other case I have lost, I didn't lose the case with prejudice, so I could refile the fucking case tomorrow. The judge was only fucking with me, and that's what judges have the power to do. They have the power to force you to re-spend your money over and over again filing your case, because they will use all sorts and all manners of preposterous technicalities to find some way to engineer a way out of it. And I have a case now. You go find some cases that have been pending for 5 fucking years in a state superior court over a simple a tort or whatever you want to call it, a claim against one plaintiff, you know, where you didn't have to do extensive investigation. You know, it's been pending 5 years, and the reason why it's been pending 5 years is because I won the summary judgment motion. The judges figured, oh shit, now we really got ourselves into trouble, and they don't know what the fuck to do with the case, because they know I'm goddamn right, and they just don't know how to throw it out now because they've already given me the summary judgment victory. But that's the paradox of this system. It's completely dependent on the goddamn asshole sitting behind that bench. And if he's a lying fucktard, the system is going to be completely broken. And unfortunately, our two-party system has put a lot of lying fucktards behind the bench. So justice is not being done. But it is a bullshit accusation. It's a lie, okay? Anybody who says I filed a frivolous lawsuit is a fucking liar. Period. They have no evidence to back that up with. Zero. None. As a technical fact. Anyway, sorry, get back to Mel. See, I'm not just going to confuse Mel more by talking about that shit instead of this shit. But anyway, look, like I said, I appreciate you making the video, Mel, but you know, you can dismiss what you want to dismiss, okay? You can say it doesn't matter what somebody does with a still image of your videos. Well, to me, it fucking matters, okay? So we disagree, and we really disagree when somebody deliberately puts a picture of me, an icon, in Hitler drag, okay? That to me is a slander, and period, okay? It doesn't have to be to you. It is to fucking me, and I'll take care of it my fucking way. So I really don't appreciate your comparing your circumstance to my circumstance, because they're not the same fucking circumstance, all right? They're a different fucking circumstance. And the bottom line is as I stated, if you're going to make these stupid distinctions, why don't you make the distinction in the context that my name, address, and phone number is still on people's channel pages, and YouTube did nothing. Why don't you make it in that context? And why don't you make it in the context that there's maybe 50 videos out there of my material used in a malicious manner, not in a fair use manner, not for academic purposes or critical analysis or counter argument, but just for malicious purpose. All right, so that's the real context here. So whatever, I don't want to say fuck you, but just look, I blocked you because I just don't want to be dealing with your bullshit, okay? Because you don't help me any. So anyway, enough said. Oh hell, I know this is enough time, I might as well add this shit here. Yeah, there is this whole idea of what the fuck slander means, alright, in the context of fair use. And there really isn't any fair use right to slander. It's just not in the law. So you can't claim fair use and then manipulate and distort. That's not fair use. You can't just use it to pervert what somebody says. That's not fucking fair use. So it's just a bullshit argument. And the fact that YouTube really does provide no mechanism, okay? Like I said, I filed at least 7 DMCAs now. They've acted on none of them. Alright? Just none of them. So I mean, what's the fucking point of having this goddamn law, having this process, when they don't even act on the goddamn fucking filings? You know, if they're not going to act on them, what the fuck we gain? We gain nothing. Alright? And so in my opinion, by not acting on it, they've basically exempted themselves from the protections they would have got through by having that process reliably work. I mean, that's what the law was intended to do. It was basically to say to these big ISPs, these big hosting companies, yeah, we'll give you immunity if you create a mechanism where people can protect their work. But you're obviously, the mechanism falls apart if in an environment like YouTube, where all the views happen in the first 2 or 3 days at the time of the video being published. And so if YouTube isn't going to act until after that point, well, it's acted way too late. So it's bullshit. It's a useless mechanism. It doesn't serve anybody's purpose. I don't want to remove the video after it's been viewed. That's really pretty fucking stupid. So, you know, fuck that. And there's no real sanction for these people. That's also another one for the stupid blue analysis guy. Why don't you point out what the terms of service are for partners, okay? This is a goddamn partner who did this shit. And he's got that goddamn Hitler fucking picture as his fucking channel background. And you tell me what the mechanism YouTube has for that. None. Alright? It's bullshit. It's against the terms of service for partners. And they're not acting on that either. So you explain to me how any of that exempts YouTube from liability in this circumstance. I say they're certainly not exempt. So if no individual is going to be accountable, well then YouTube's going to be fucking accountable.